Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today we are discussing world building, specifically place names. What I mean by place names is towns, cities, rivers, seas, all the names of places in your world. And there is quite a process in making them if you want your world building to be intricate. Before we get into today's video, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to see it since I upload, click that little bell down below. Your continuous support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. First of all, and very importantly, you do not need to create an entire language to make place names. And when you are making place names, you only need to focus on those important places in your world that are gonna mean a lot to your character and maybe be referred to. There are three parts to first creating your name, and that is, what are you going to base your name on? By this I mean things like King's Landing in Game of Thrones is named that due to the place's history, or that the River Avon is basically called River. It is named because it is a river. Or we have the Forest of Dean, it is a forest. Shock horror. You also have places that are named after people, and sometimes what they chose to highlight about that person, for example, Holy Island up in Northumberland, where I am from, is so named after St. Cuthbert and St. Aidan, who built a parish there. It's also the island that the Vikings first decided to come to, and then the parish was all rebuilt, and they make a lot of mead. So those are our three things: place, history, and people. You need to decide to choose one of these to name first. So this could be things like, if you wanted to base your name off a place, you need to create a language that could mean river, forest, mountain, anything like that. This is things like the Lake District in northwest England. It's so named because it has lots of lakes. You've got the Highlands of Scotland because they're very high and up in the mountains. If you want to name something after a place, think of what you're going to call that item. So if it's going to be a river, you might want to think of a word like Avon that will be repeated, that your reader can latch onto to know that your characters are referring to a river. If you are going to choose option 2 and go for a historical name, then make sure the backstory makes sense, but also that it is something that will be important to your protagonist in the story. For example, King's Landing is important because it is where the Targaryens first began to rule and create Westeros as it is. It is important to all the characters in that story, therefore it's okay for the reader to be given this knowledge. That being said, these events don't have to be real. They could be based on a fantasy folktale which has happened in that time. Or you could go with option 3, which is people. Again, make sure if it is named after a person, that is something important to your characters. If you were going to call something Holy Island, are your characters holy individuals? Or are they completely against religion? Why would it be something that is important to them to know? Why would it be important to the people of your world? In terms of number 3 as well, sometimes by people, it doesn't mean one individual person. England is called England because it's full of English people. Scotland is called Scotland because it's full of Scottish people. You get the drift. By naming it after people as well, it can also be historical for who was in power at the time. A part of history where a lot of bad colonizers named everything after themselves. We're not very imaginative people in this world. Once you've chosen this first option, so you're either going place, history, or people, you then move on to the second part of naming a place, and that is evolution, simplification, conflation, or elaboration. You can then put your place name through either one or two of these next steps. Evolution refers to the language of that region changing. So this is where we go back to River Avon. The reason it is called River is because the English didn't know Avon meant river in Welsh. So we end up with the word river. Language changes, it evolves. 2, simplification. Remove words. So instead of the Forest of Dean, it becomes Forest of Dean. Number 3, conflation. If you have two words and they combine, this could be conflation. For example, a lot of places in Northumberland end with wick. We have Alnwick, Berwick, so many wicks. Wick refers to an old town or old village. So a place that was called Allen might have been Allen Village or Allen Town, town of Allen, which became Alnwick, or Alnwick as we pronounce it. Same with Berwick. Why do we do this? And 4, elaboration. This is adding things to a name to modify it or explain it in more detail. So this would be things like calling something bigger, upper, lower, larger. The bottom end of Bedlington, and we have top end of Bedlington. I don't necessarily think it says it on the map, but it's what we all call them. And we know where people are if we say top end or bottom end. It's adding something to differentiate between different parts of the same word. So to recap, you first need to choose, is your name going to be based on history, place, or people? Once you have this word, you then put it through 1 or 2 of simplification, evolution, conflation, or elaboration. This should then make a cohesive word which has history or a reason for it to be called that. It can also help you in the long run if you are going to repeat names of rivers or forests of towns, that you might have a word which tells the reader already what size of town that is, what it's next to, all that good stuff. You can also use the world building of place names to create intricate histories to your world, such as the same town having 2 different names, possibly due to an original person's being there and then being overtaken by another, but that word not going away. You can see this a lot with regional dialects. There's a reason we all have different dialects. Following this trend, you can also think about the movement of people. Languages change and pronunciations change, which could also mean your place name could evolve just from mispronunciation. How many times have we all mispronounced a name and it's stuck? And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found this useful. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Tumblr. I post bookish pictures, as well as my writing tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye!